Welcome to opening day. Plan today is just kind of go through some general practices for Draftkings, things I've learned, things I think you should do to have a sustainable season. And we'll kind of go through, pitchers for today, my thoughts on them, where I think ownership might be, and let's just go through it. So let me start off by showing this. If you're not subscribed to notifications for Underdog MLB on Twitter, you are shooting yourself in the foot. There's absolutely no better place for information than these guys. They put out every starting lineup. They'll put any pitching updates, any postponements, any delays, anything. These guys are on it, so I would just subscribe to them. That way you get every notification. If it comes out that someone's on a pitch count tomorrow, they'll say it. I know there's already talks that DeGrom's on a pitch count. So anything like that, these guys are on it with opening day. You never know what could happen. I mean, if there's a late scratch, you'll get the notification right away. So you have to subscribe to these guys if you're planning on playing Draftkings for this year. Another must follow on Twitter is Kevin Roth. He's the baseball weather guy, works for Roto Grinders. He does a full free weather forecast for the day. I'll show that here in a minute, but also he follows potential postponements very closely, really gives about every 5 to 10 minute updates as lock approaches. So if there's any questions on whether or not to play somebody, especially a pitcher, definitely don't want your pitcher to get rained out. You got to have Kevin Roth notifications turned on. So with that being said, we can kind of go into the slate. I'm really just going to show some of the free tools that are available on Roto Grinders. I subscribe to Roto Grinders. There's a lot of good sites out there. I know Stochastic has a subscription site. Those guys are really good. There's plenty of other SaberSim, Run Pure Sports. If you're going to play legit and try, to really make money this year, you really need to subscribe somewhere. You're going to have to, it'll save yourself a lot of research. I mean, the projections are already there. They'll do the research for you, and then you can put your twist on it. But if you're just trying to get into it, trying to figure out if you like it, figure out if you're good at it, then, there's a lot of good free tools out there. There's a lot of good free videos that I'll kind of show, or I can talk about. I watched several of them. So really the first place I would start, though, when you're doing a slate is right here on the weather report on Roto Grinders. This is free. Kevin Roth does this daily, usually maybe around 10 or 11 o'clock. He'll have it updated, but I would start here for every single slate, because especially this time of year, there's going to be some northern games that are 30, 40 degrees. Obviously, we don't want hitters in that environment. It should be a big bump to pitchers. Wind in baseball is obviously a huge thing. You can see here he's already got it listed that the wind's blowing out to right in Yankee Stadium. Already a short porch in right field, so the fact that the wind's blowing out is just another bump. I would definitely want to see the temp, I guess, with it being New York. I'm not really sure what that would come out to be. This bottom half of the page will populate. It just might be kind of a opening day kink, and it's usually updates per day. So I would expect this to be filled in the morning. So, and then 2 looks like, so he kind of does yellow orange. That's like the risk of postponement. So he says here, San Diego, best chance around the entire slate is in San Diego. That definitely puts some risk on playing Blake Snell. I'd be a little nervous about that if we're still sitting at a chance for rain. I mean, it's going to be opening day. The pitcher's already going to be on a quick trigger. Blake Snell's already on a quick trigger for compared to all these aces that are going on opening day. So I like to just start here to get an idea of what to expect. For newer players, Chicago at Wrigley Field is very, very weather dependent. We might see, if we see 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, the Cubs and their opponent will be absolute chalk. If we see 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, absolute pitchers are a lock. It's just the way the ballpark's set up. The park is very wind dependent. So if you're trying to figure out, if you play a slate and you look back and all the Cub players are 40% owned and you didn't realize that, or you didn't expect that, probably because the wind was blowing out and all these optimizers and projection sites were just boosting the Cubs like crazy. So, all right, we'll go through. Let's go through real quick. Let me pull up the starting lineup. So this starting lineup page on Draftkings is also a free page. So it's a great place. Just kind of compare. You get the team totals here. So the over under compared with the win odds. You can get these team totals. Let me refresh just in case there's been any changes. And then as lineups start to come in, this page will populate. So right now, everything you see in red is just a projected lineup. I believe the Twins lineup came out, so we might get a chance to see that. So yeah, you can see this is already confirmed. So once it's confirmed, it'll be white and everything will be updated. So this is a good place to come, just to kind of general overview. I would definitely use this, especially if you're doing this free, because you can kind of go through, look at the team totals to start the day. Braves we can get into them later, but I mean they're going to be massive chalk. Their highest team total on the slate, I think it looks like the Red Sox are close at 468. The Twins are, I think, over 4.5 as well. So kind of give you a general idea of what to expect for the slate, and then also too on the flip side, you can look for smaller totals, and that'll be the likely pitchers that we see. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort this by the day slate so we can kind of filter out those night games so we don't get confused on what we're going to see later. So yeah, you can see the Giants are already under 3 because they're facing Cole. Nats are under 3 versus Fried. Plus they're just a very watered down lineup compared to what they used to be. All right, so let's just go through. I think the other thing I would like to show, this is free as well on Roto Grinders. This is their Plate IQ. If you're really, especially if you're doing this free, this is the place to come for stats. It has everything in here. You can sort it by game, the hitters, and you can see the strikeout rates. That would be the biggest thing I'd look at, would be strikeout rate and WOBA for the projected players. You can see here Garrett Cole, 32% strikeout rate, plus a team that has some guys over 30% strikeout rate as well. I would expect a pretty good strikeout day from Garrett Cole. And then let me just show kind of on the flip side, a poor pitcher. We can go to the Braves against Patrick Corbin. So you can see Corbin 18% strikeout rate with just some massive WOBA numbers versus lefties. So kind of you can tell right off the bat that the Braves are going to be a popular team, as they probably should. Okay, so let's just kind of go in, do game by game. I'll kind of give quick ideas and thoughts on where I think the ownership may come and where potential projections might be and who I would recommend playing. Just at first glance, obviously all this can change big time once we get lineups. I was looking at it earlier this afternoon, and Joey Gallo was popping up everywhere because they thought he was leading off for the Twins. He's batting 7th, so now he might be more appropriately owned. I haven't looked again since the lineup was confirmed, but I mean, just things like that are massive. So, all right, just diving in. Let's dive into this first game. Pitchers, the aces here. Throughout the season, we'll see aces over 10K. They are very cheap today in comparison. I don't know if that's Draftkings wanting everyone to feel like they're building a good lineup on opening day, or if there's pitch count concerns with some of these aces. So, I mean, when you see Garrett Cole at 9K against a team with an under 3 total, I think that's a huge spot. I would expect him to be one of the top owned pitchers on the slate. There's no one on the Giants that really scares me. I mean, Jock might pop a homer over the short porch. Conforto's trying to come back, but I mean, over the whole lineup, I mean, Garrett Cole he's a workhorse. I would expect 90 plus pitches for him. I mean, he's not one of those guys that they're going to ease into the season. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be ready to go. Logan Webb on the flip side, I feel like he gets a rap for being a good pitcher. He might just be a good real life pitcher because he's just not gonna do much for DraftKings. I can pull up here and show you. He's got a pretty low K rate, 20%, versus the Yankees. Opening day, Yankee Stadium, that's just going to be a hard pass for me. So, hitters, though, I think the Yankees are interesting. A lot of people might be scared to stack against Logan Webb, just because the real life picture of him. But I mean, if you're not playing Logan Webb, then if we can get Aaron Judge at low ownership compared to what the Yankees usually are, I mean, I would think Judge is probably around 5% maybe. I mean, if you can ever get Aaron Judge at 5%, I don't know how you pass that up. So I definitely have some interest in the Yankees. Bottom of the order here has some cheap pieces. I know Volpe, he's supposed to be a huge steals guy, had 50 steals or whatever last year in the minors, so that might be huge. Kind of cheap piece to add in. I love putting the catcher on my stacks. So we'll kind of skipped over this at the beginning, but this is going to be mainly GPP focused. I do single entry GPPs. I just make my best lineup I can each night and put that in. If you're playing cash, I would highly you have to have a projection source to play cash. If you even have a projection source, there's a chance you still get smoked in cash. In my opinion, there's just not a lot of return on investment in cash. It's not worth it. I mean, it might sustain you for a long time, but I would not be playing the double ups or head to heads unless that's just something you found success in the past. I think the most exploitable place on DraftKings is the single entries and the GPP. So with that being said, you will see me play a 5-stack every single slate, no matter what. I don't care how many games. I don't care what teams are on it. I will play a 5-stack every single slate, because just for that team for that lineup to win, let's just use the Yankees for example. If I was planning on building a Yankee stack and I had 4 people and I needed a 5th, and let's just say I had my catcher open, Jose Trevino, let's say projected 5 points, I'd put him in there. Because let's say Joey Bart on the other side, $100 difference. If Joey Bart projected for 6 points, if I just asked you in a vacuum, who would you rather play? Joey Bart projected at 6 points, Jose Trevino projected at 5 points, you'd say Joey Bart in a heartbeat. Well, this lineup, I don't care about just the median performance. This lineup will win when the Yankees score 7, 10 runs, etc. So now, go back, ask you that question again. What if I told you Jose Trevino versus Joey Bart, and I can guarantee the Yankees are going to score 7 runs? Okay, you're going to take Jose Trevino. I mean, it's just more likely he'll get more bats with the team scoring. He's, good chance for a single RBI, single run scored, might get a double, 2 RBIs. I mean, you just never know. So you will always see me 5-stack. I don't care about spending all my salary. I'll, leave a few $100s on the table if that's the case. So, but with 5-stack, you have 3 other pieces that can vary on whether you want to do 3 one-offs, 2 from a team, do a 5-3 stack with all 3 of those on the same team. But we can kind of get into that as we go throughout the season. I'll kind of do since it's opening day, there's nothing to compare to for yesterday, but as we get going throughout the year, my plan is to kind of start the show by kind of reviewing and recapping what happened on the night before and the lineup I made, and what we might have learned in my thought process that went into it. So, all right, moving on to the Braves and Nationals. We got to get moving a little bit. There's a lot of games on this slate. Max Fried versus Patrick Corbin. Max Fried 8.1K, Patrick Corbin 6.2K. That Fried price is right in the ballpark of where I think the SB2s will be, which will be Shane McClanahan, Max Fried, Blake Snell, maybe Hunter Green, some guys like that. So it's definitely enticing. Fried isn't the highest strikeout pitcher, which usually he compensates for that because he goes 7 innings every start and with a high chance at a win. Well, with it being early in the year, I mean, is he really going to go past the 6th inning? I could see him going 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, and a win. Certainly worth it. I mean, he'll definitely pay off for that salary. So he's in consideration for me, but I definitely will proceed with caution. I will want to see what the weather's like in Washington. If it's 40 degrees or something, then that'll really like make me like Max Fried. But just have to see what these Northeast games are going to be. If it's 60 plus or something, then I might look elsewhere. Corbin, no chance versus the Braves. There'll be times we can play him this year, but today's just not one of those days. So looking ahead at the hitters, the Braves are going to be massive chalk. These salaries are incredibly low on everyone outside of Acuna. Matt Olson is going to be $5K within a month. Austin Riley's going to be $5K. Murphy will be $4.5. Ozuna, I mean, he's boom or bust. He's going to strike out 3 times, but he might hit a homer. If he hits a homer, he's going to pay off that salary. Ozzy, definitely coming back from the injury last year. Maybe, that's hit his salary a little bit, but I mean, he's facing a lefty. Ozzy versus a lefty is one of the best hitters on the planet. So I don't care what his salary is versus a lefty. I'm going to be playing him. Michael Harris, lefty. I'm probably out on that. Darno, he'll be probably unowned. He's more expensive than Murphy, projected bottom of the order. And then Arcia would definitely be a cheap piece. He is second base eligible, though, not shortstop. So that will definitely hurt him. Let me make sure he's not. Yeah, he is not shortstop eligible. So you're probably going Ozzy if you're going a Brave second baseman. But with that being said, the Braves will be the highest on team, but there are ways to kind of make them differently. If you're just dead set on the Braves and no other team standing out to you, can't blame you there. I think the biggest pivot for me, if I was to play the Braves, is Matt Olson. I think he'll be, compared to the other guys top of the order, he's going to be the most under-owned compared to his cost and potential output, only because it's lefty-lefty. But I don't really care about that. I mean, he can hit lefties good. I mean, and if the Braves go off, Corbin's going to be out after the second inning, third inning anyway, so who really cares? Let me just pull it up real quick to show what Olson does against lefties. I mean, look, he's a higher WOBA than Acuna against lefties, higher ISO, so does not scare me at all, lefty. So if I was to play the Braves, I'd probably make sure I have Olson in there, because I can guarantee you every other Brave stack is going to have Acuna, Riley, Murphy, and Ozzy. So that whatever you decide to do there to kind of make it different, I think, you got to do something. You can't just play the main guys. All right, Nats hitters, no love there. We can move on. Orioles, Red Sox, absolutely out on these pitchers. There's no chance I'm playing Kyle Gibson or Corey Kluber on opening day with all these aces. Both stacks here are interesting, though. The prices on the Orioles are just insane. I mean, look at this compared to what we just saw from the Braves. 5.4, 5, 4.8, 5, 4 for the top 5 batters. I mean, you might just have to mess around and see if you can fit some of this in, or maybe it's just you kind of get a one-off or a two-man from this team, because I wouldn't mind picking against Kluber, but I mean, those salaries are just a little outrageous, and kind of the same for the Red Sox. I mean, compared to the Braves, these teams are just so expensive. I know I wouldn't mind a one-off here with Yoshida, Duvall versus Roddy. I'm probably out on. Devers is always worth considering in Verdugo. So really just Verdugo, Devers, Yoshida. I don't think I'd really consider anyone else outside of that. If you're stacking, add in the catcher, maybe add in Arroyo, but not too much love there. All right, Brewers, Cubs, Burns 8.8K, Stroman 7.2K. I'm out on Stroman. I will rarely ever play him on Draftkings. He's a decent real life pitcher, but he just doesn't get strikeouts, and that's the name of the game on Draftkings is strikeouts and innings pitched, and he just doesn't fit that, especially at 7.2K. So, but Burns is definitely interesting. 8.8K is the cheapest you'll see Burns all year. We'll definitely have to look back into it a little bit, because Roth is saying there's a slight breeze blowing out in Wrigley, but I mean, they have to make contact for it to go for the wind to matter, and I'm not sure that they're capable of doing that. I mean, the Cubs definitely added some pieces, added Dansby, they added Cody Bellinger, but I mean, when I think of those two guys, they're both fully capable of an 0 for 4 with 4Ks day. So Cole, Burns, Fried, kind of my pitcher pool right now that I would consider. Looking at the hitters, I'm probably out on a full stack of the Brewers. Definitely out full stack from the Cubs. We're not even going to consider that right now. But the prices on the Brewers is definitely interesting. Rowdy at 3.8. I kind of like him, especially if that wind is blowing out. I could see Rowdy getting one to the air. I kind of like the middle of this order here. Contreras, gonna miss him in Atlanta, but happy that he'll get to play almost every day. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. And then Winker in a new environment. See if he can kind of regain that NL Central heat he had from a few years ago. So the prices there are definitely interesting. The Brewers would be in consideration, but it really comes down to the weather in Wrigley. That I'd have to check back at that right before lock. All right, moving to Tigers Rays. This is probably going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate, if I had to guess, is Shane McClanahan. Absolute stud. Versus the Tigers, absolute trash. And he's 7.7K. I mean, he should be the same price as Cole, Burns, DeGrom, all those guys in this situation. So, I mean, it's hard not to play McClanahan, but there is a risk with the Rays. Not so much McClanahan, but, I mean, if there was one team that you told me would pull their starting pitcher after 4 innings because it's opening day, it's the Rays. So that definitely worries me a little bit, but I mean, at 7.7K, McClanahan can get there in 5 innings. I mean, he got there 5 innings, 2 hits, 8 Ks, walks out with the win. I mean, that's definitely worth it at 7.7. So it's kind of the opposite of Max Fried, where I think Fried might get there because of longevity and, going 6+ innings. McClanahan is going to have to get it done in shorter time, but I mean, this Tigers team is the one to do it on. I mean, I'll just pull it up. There's no way that these strikeout rates are anything we should be scared of. I mean, McClanahan 30% strikeout rate. Tigers here, Baez 20.8 against lefties is good for him. I'd be shocked if it's that low again this season. Riley Green lefty. Haas pretty good power hitter, but high strikeout rate. And this bottom of the order, I mean, McClanahan should carve these guys up. So definitely going to be the most popular pitcher, but if you want to get off of him, I don't blame you. I can't say where I'm going to go right now. The fact that it's the Rays and he might go 4 innings is definitely a possibility. So that's something we'll have to consider as we're building lineups. The Tigers I'm out on as a stack. The Rays, I'll consider them as well. They have some good pieces. Wander Franco's back healthy. Rosarena just tore up the WBC, so he's obviously coming in pretty hot. I don't like Brandon Lau against lefty, so that's kind of a downgrade to him. Yandy Diaz up top, though, is a stud. I'm just going to warn you now, this will happen to you at some point this season. If you stack the Rays, they will pinch hit your guy. That's just what will happen. All these righties, especially down here at the bottom of the order, the second a right-handed relief pitcher comes in, these guys are swapping out. So just proceed with caution if you're stacking the Rays, but definitely wouldn't mind a few guys from there. All right, let's move on to the Phillies and the Rangers. We got 2 aces going. Aaron Nola, 8.1K. Jacob deGrom, 9.6K. Definitely worth noting right off the bat that reports are deGrom goes 75 to 80 pitches. Any other day, maybe versus another team, you can play deGrom at 75, 80 pitches. But with all these other pitchers, I don't see it today. I won't be playing deGrom. Phillies are definitely a little watered down with the Hoskins injury. Bryce should be out for about half the season, it sounds like. But, I mean, when you got Turner, Schwarber, Real Muto, top of the order, I'm out on deGrom. But, I mean, he's like McClanahan. He might go out there, 5 innings, 1 hit, 12 Ks, and, he beats you. But I'd probably, give me the chance that Scherzer or Cole or Burns or someone like that goes out and throws 95 pitches or something. So just so they can get more done. Nola, though, is definitely interesting. In my mind, Nola's not a huge strikeout pitcher. We can see what the stats say on that. That's just, I guess, what I associate with him. I think his strikeouts did improve last year, though. But, I mean, this Rangers lineup is definitely improving. I mean, whenever you got Simeon and Corey Seager up top, that's a little something to be scared of. Fairly low strikeout rates at the top of the order, but I don't know, the bottom of that order is definitely high strikeout rates, and I was wrong about Nola. He got his strikeout percentage up. Yeah, after looking at that, Nola would definitely be in the mix. Him versus Fried, Nola is the underdog, so lower chance of getting the win, or Fried I would almost call a lock to get the win. I would have Nola slightly less than Fried, but Nola's definitely worth considering if if you're a little higher on him than I am. I guess I just have a bad perception of him being a Braves fan. But all right, moving forward, Mets versus Marlins. We got Scherzer 9.4K, Sandy 8.5K. Scherzer, I'd have to double check this, but I heard today that he threw 100 pitches in his last spring training start. So, I mean, the guy's an absolute psycho. I mean, he'll go 95, 100 pitches tomorrow. But against this Marlins team, they did add Luis Arias, good contact hitter, so low strikeouts there would kind of scare me a little bit. But, I mean, Scherzer's one of those guys, you can play him. Yeah, there's Arias, 7% strikeout rate. That's absolutely insane. But, I mean, Scherzer's matchup proof, basically. And he's pitching in Marlins Park. Good hitters park. I mean, what's not to like there? I think obviously I would have Scherzer over DeGrom, but I would probably put Scherzer just below Cole if I had to guess, or if I had to, I guess, make a decision right now. So, and I believe he's more expensive too. Let's see, 9.4 compared to 9. So. Yeah, if you have the money for Scherzer and you're playing a Brave stack, you're already super chalky, it wouldn't be a bad pivot off Cole. If you go to Cole to Scherzer, if you're wanting to play the Braves and you need to be a little different at pitcher, I mean, Scherzer could absolutely go out there and put up a 30 spot, 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 10 Ks with a win. I mean, no one would be surprised. Now for Sandy, there's going to be times to play Sandy this year, but I don't think this is it. I mean, his biggest strength is he's going to go 8 innings every game. That worries me a little bit on opening day. I would expect him, maybe 6. And I mean, in this Mets team's pretty stacked with some good contact hitters as well, with Nimmo and McNeil. So I think I'm out on Sandy today. Let's just check the strikeout rates real quick for the Mets. Yeah, absolutely. I'm out on Sandy. There's no chance. 23% strikeout rate. It's probably lower than you thought, just from the former Cy Young guy. Like I said, he gets his most of his fantasy points from just going deep in the games. But I mean, look at these strikeout rates. 2 guys over 20%, and they're still fairly low. So no chance on Sandy. On the flip side, though, no chance. I play the Mets. I'm not playing against Sandy. I mean, this is not going to happen. Plus these salaries in Marlins Park, absolutely not going to happen. And then, yeah, no Mets for Scherzer either. This game is definitely interesting, though. So we finally got a game with some subpar pitchers compared to some of these aces from other teams. We got Pirates versus Reds. Mitch Keller, 6.7K. Hunter Green, 7.4K. I mean, Pirates came out and named Keller their opening day starter a long time ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. They named him the opening day starter, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it, especially in Cincinnati, one of the biggest hitters ballparks. I'm going to be out there. And then also we got Hunter Green, huge strikeout guy, huge home run guy. I think he's almost 50% fly ball to home run ratio. So I'm probably out there. I'd like to see him kind of get stretched out throughout the season. Give me some confidence that the Reds are okay letting him go, 90 plus pitches. Right now, who knows? They might still be treating him with kid gloves like most teams do with their young pitchers. So I'm Probably out on Keller and Green. Pirates over interesting. I don't know if I would full stack just because Hunter Green is a good pitcher, but I mean, I could see Hunter Green giving up 2 or 3 home runs. I mean, I don't think that would shock anybody. So some of the lefties I would definitely be interested in. O'Neal Cruz, just absolute monster. I would consider him even at that price. Brian Reynolds, you can consider. Let's see, G-Man Choi, Jack Swinsky. I'd really be looking at the lefties here. Let's double check real quick. We don't want to see the relief pitchers. Let's double check Hunter Green's splits if he's much worse versus lefties or righties, especially for home runs. So you can see here the WOBA and the ISO on some of these lefties. So Cruz, Reynolds, Sawinski really stand out. Hunter Green versus righties, a little bit worse, high ISO. So yeah, just be looking at the Pittsburgh lefties, I think, would be where I would go there. So, but if you do need a full stack, if you're already going, Cruz, Reynolds, Santana switch hitter, that'd be off the board stack you could go to if you're just dead set on the chalk pitchers and you're looking for a cheap stack. That might be one to consider. But for me, I'll probably just consider one-offs there. Reds, I don't know. These guys don't get me excited. These prices are low, so maybe if I need a one-off, Fraley had a crazy good year last year. Friedel, I guess how you say that. He's cheap, middle of the order. Maybe a one-off if I just absolutely don't have salary for anything else. I might consider it just because it's Keller. I would be interested on the wind here as well. Mild temp, so that's definitely bad for pitchers, good for hitters there in Cincinnati. So, all right, let's move on. Blue Jays Cardinals, Alex Manoah, 7.9K. Miles Michaelis, 7.4K. Let's see what we got here. Alek Manoah, I'm not a huge fan of. You'll rarely see me play him. He's got a very low strikeout rate for, I would say, the perception of him or his popularity. Michaelis right there, that should tell you all you need to know. I will not be playing Miles Michaelis, especially against the Blue Jays. For Manoah, though, 22%, really low. And against this Cardinals team, I mean, these guys are some absolute studs. Goldschmidt, Arenado, they added Wilson Contreras. So, yeah, no chance on Manoah. He's more expensive than McClanahan. I would see there's no reason to play him over any of those other 7-7 pitchers that we have. Snell, if the weather's okay. Max Fried, Aaron Nola. I mean, if you're playing Manoah, just figure out $200 to get to Nola or Snell or Fried or McClanahan. I mean, it's not worth it. The Blue Jays, though, definitely would consider. These prices seem reasonable. I would say, obviously, Springer, Bichette, Vlad are going to be up around 5K. They added Varsho. If you don't know much about him, I'm a big Diamondbacks fan. Thanks to some recent success I had from him, but he's an all-around player. We usually liked him with the Diamondbacks because he had catcher eligibility, but I mean, he would be up around 5K last year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some Blue Jays ownership. Kirk, pretty cheap for as good of a player he is. And then Whit Merrifield interests me as well. With these new bases, pitch clock, I mean, if there's anybody that's going to get 40-plus steals, I'd be pretty confident in saying Whit Merrifield. So Blue Jays definitely interest me. I think that might be kind of a lower-owned spot as well compared to the Braves. And the Twins, we'll get to them in a minute. So Blue Jays, I think, will be on my short list for consideration. Obviously, any one-offs that you might end up on, I'd be perfectly fine with from that team. All right, let's move on. We got 2 games left. Rockies, Padres. We do have a potential weather issue in San Diego. Like I said, follow Underdog for updates. I just got a push notification on my phone, so let's see what this update or what this tweet was about the game. Let's see. Rockies Padres moved to 7:40 on Thursday due to inclement weather. So okay, so they pushed it back. It was where am I? It was 14, so push back 3 hours. So it'll still be on the slate. With that being said, though, I love that. With the thing that scares you the most with weather is a mid-game delay. If Blake Snell knows it's starting at 7:40, he'll just get ready 3 hours later. So if that's the case, I would have a lot more interest in the Padres and really would not be worried at all about the weather. If they're already moving it this far in advance, then they're moving it to a time where they can get the full game in without issue. So I would feel good about Blake Snell. He turned it on second half of last year. If you play Blake Snell enough this year, you're going to love him and you're going to hate him. He's going to get you -10 at least one day, and he's going to get you 40 at least twice. And it's just something you're going to have to live with. You just play him and hope his pitch count stays low and the walks stay low. I mean, he could go out there 3 innings, 2 hits, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts, and gets pulled because he already threw 90 pitches. Or he could go out there and, 7 innings, 2 hits, 12 Ks because he just happened to find the strikes on the day. So I would definitely consider Snell. McClanahan will be the higher owned of the two, but I think Blake Snell, especially against this Rockies team, I mean, Rockies outside of Coors, they're going to get stacked, or pitchers are going to get taken against the Rockies a lot. So I know they got Bryant back, and Cron versus a lefty would, is a good hitter, but Blackman, McMahon versus lefty, both lefty. There's not much that scares me there. Chris Bryant's going to have to prove he's back to the old Chris Bryant before I'm really scared of him. Marquez at 7K will not play. On the flip side, the Padres hitters are definitely interesting. I think this was like the 4th highest total on the slate. Anytime you can get a team with Soto, Machado, Cronenworth, Bogarts, definitely worth considering. You got guys like Grisham for 2.5K. That seems incredibly low for his home run stolen base upside. So, I could see 3 of the top 4 batters, and then maybe like a Carpenter Nola or Grisham Nola stack. If Carpenter's really in there and batting in the top of this lineup, I mean, that 3.3K is pretty nice. They'll let you fit in two aces and maybe the Braves as well. And who knows, if he gets hot like he did for the Yankees last year for that month or so, then he'll be worth playing at 3.3K. He won't be 3.3K long if he can bring that back. So Padres, I'll definitely consider. All right, moving on to the last game, Twins versus Royals. Like I said, the Twins lineup's already out. That's why it's white. We got Pablo Lopez, 7.5K, Greinke, 6.1K. I will not play Greinke. I will never play Greinke. I mean, what's he going to get? Like max 2 strikeouts? It's just, so it's not happening. He's going to have to be 4K for me to even consider him. Pablo Lopez is interesting for sure. He started off well with the Marlins last year, then kind of faded out if I remember right. So I might just take a wait and see approach with Lopez. The salary's right there next to Hunter Green and all the Max Fried, Shane McClanahan, Blake Snell. So maybe on a different slate, but not today. And I'm a big fan of these Royals hitters. Melendez, I think, is a monster. Witt, Pasquantino, Salvi. I will not be playing Lopez. So, all right, looking at the hitters though, I think this is probably the second most popular team. I think that I can say that pretty easily. Buxton's healthy. If he's healthy, you play him. The talent's never been the concern. It's been whether or not he can stay on the field. So if you need a pivot off Acuna, that might be the place. Correa, I don't know what happened with him this offseason in his shin or his ankle or whatever it was, but he's in there now, and I'm sure he has something to prove. So I wouldn't mind a twin stack, especially when you get leadoff hitter, 3.4K. I mean, Kepler's a solid hitter. Gallo, though, will be pretty popular at 3.1K. Everyone knows that now that there's no shift, that's just going to make Gallo the best hitter on the planet, right? That's just the perception of it. So I would expect Gallo to be pretty high on. With that being the case, at 3.1K, he's probably worth it versus Greinke. I mean, what's Gallo's biggest problem? Strikeouts, at 40% or whatever he is. Well, what's the one thing Greinke's not going to do is strike somebody out. So I mean, he's popular for a reason. Let's just show these numbers real quick. Minnesota hitters. Yeah, Greinke 12.5K is just absolutely insane. And Gallo 37% strikeout rate versus righties. So, I mean, the one thing that scares you with Gallo, like I said, strikeouts. Greinke, he might get 2 strikeouts this entire game. So, Gallo will definitely be worth considering. If you need a cheap one-off outfielder, that's probably the place to go. I mean, you're one-off. What do you want from him? You want a home run. I mean, and Gallo's the guy that go out there and get 2 this game. So, wouldn't mind that. I definitely wouldn't mind the Twins just overall as a stack as well. The Royals, I'm probably out on as a stack. At first glance, these prices are pretty high. Melendez, 4.7K, Witt, 5.2, Salvi, 5.1. I could see a Pasquantino one-off, but don't really love that either. I don't really love, picking hitters in Kansas City, especially this time of year, maybe later in the summer when it gets warmer. The Royals definitely have some stolen base upside, though. Bobby Witt probably approaching 50 steals this year. So, maybe on another slate we can go there, but I think I'm out on him today. With that being said, though, we can kind of go through. If I had to kind of say my pitchers that I'm considering right now, I would say Cole, Fried, Burns, McClanahan definitely, Nola, and Scherzer. I think that's probably it. And and definitely Snell if the weather isn't a concern, which it seems like it should be okay. So, all right. So that's kind of my thoughts on the slate. Obviously, follow Underdog tomorrow as these starting lineups come out. You never know what could happen. I mean, the Yankees could bat Volpe leadoff. If that's the case, I mean, he's your chalk shortstop. So things like that you need to follow throughout the day. This is kind of a weird slate, just with the games being spread out. I guess the night games won't be included on this slate. We'll just kind of have 1:05 to 4:10 Eastern time start time. So definitely be ready for that early lock with the afternoon slate. But it's really all I got. The plan for this channel is to do a daily stream as much as possible. The most likely be morning. Nights is kind of tough because the previous slate's still going and the projections aren't really updated yet. Starting lineups, there's still a lot that can change. So we'll probably end up doing a morning show. If you can be there live, great. If not, it'll definitely be recorded, and you can view it throughout the day. So hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions. That's the best place to reach me. If you have if I said something that you don't really agree with, put that in the comments of the video and we can talk about it. And I might have just misspoke, or you might be helping me out because I might just have a misperception about a guy. I was like Nola. I was definitely surprised the strikeout rate was up that high. So you never know. I mean, we're in this together. I will say, as we kind of go throughout this year, definitely I would encourage bankroll management the best you can. I would not be playing more than 10%, maybe even 5% of your bankroll a slate. I mean, this is a 200-day or 200 slate season if you count the day-night slates that we'll get. There's no reason to, if you have $100 in your account, there's no reason to put all 100 in tonight. I mean, the point of this is to, have fun, make your money last as long as possible, get better throughout the season. You might end up at the end of the year just winning some beer money. That's fine. You won't have to file your taxes on it. So no harm in that. But, if you, back yourself into one of these big wins, then, you have a good year. But just kind of want to temper expectations that, this is definitely a grind. This is daily with MLB. I think I've played, I could look, but over the last 3 seasons, I think I'm up over 100K on MLB. If you look, what's that? 3 seasons, about 500 days worth of playing. I maybe have 15 days over where I won over $1,000. So I mean, you're really just sustaining from slate to slate. If you enter $10 and you win back 22, great. Next slate you enter 10, win back 0, that's okay. You're on to the next slate, and you just keep going from there. And if you're doing well, you can enter more the next night. And if you start to lose some, dial it back. There's contests all the way down to a dime. So really just find somewhere that you kind of feel comfortable. And as you get higher up, the competition gets better. So if you can kind of find that sweet spot where you get a chance at a higher return, but you also feel like the field's weak, I would definitely just pound that. If you find something that you have success in, there's no reason to change it. I mean, if there's a $5 entry, 70-person contest that you're just absolutely crushing, you're winning 3 times a week, there's no reason to change. I mean, I know that 100K to first or whatever looks nice, but that's I don't want to call it a pipe dream, but it's a long shot. You're up against guys that 150 max. You're gonna have to be really careful with how you do your leverage, things like that. But those things will work on, and as you get better, we can kind of get good at finding those leverage spots and when to pivot off the chalk and what chalk to eat, and what things to factor in. So I just kind of recap. If you don't have a projection source, that's fine. There's plenty of free tools out here, especially at Roto Grinders. Weather Report, starting lineups, Plate IQ are great places to start. There's a lot of free shows. I know Run Pure Sports does a good afternoon free show. I think Roto Grinders does a free show before they go live. Roto Grinders has a morning podcast on Spotify. They do. There's a lot of good free content out there. If you're just trying to get your feet wet and see if you like it, you can definitely start off with free content and just kind of see how it goes from there. And if you're doing good and feel like you want to take it to the next step, then you can subscribe to one of these sites. I would recommend the bat on Roto Grinders. It's not Roto Grinders. It is a separate subscription on the bat. You'll get projections, best in the business from Derek Carty. You'll get ownership, and you'll get his kind of some of his analytical tools that he has. That's where I would start. If that $400, I think is what it is this season, is in your price range, that's the best. So why would you get anything else? But if you find something else that's more in your price range, I would definitely encourage you to do that. But all right, with that being said, I think we'll probably close it out for today. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to hit me up, and we'll keep going on this. Sorry if my mic's a little buzzy. It was kind of quiet earlier today, so I'm still trying to mess around with it and see, get it fixed right and get the stream right. And we'll start figuring out the overlays and all the other stuff. I was just trying to get online to have a preview for you guys tonight. So all right. With that being said, good luck tomorrow. Like I always tell my buddies when we're texting, I'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.